Leni, how are you today?
I am wonderful now that I see you. What
Oh.
sort of exciting things have you been doing this week?
Well, I don't know about exciting, but the news has really got my ass again. Too much of my attention, I think. But especially the Cesar Chavez, allegations about, that he was abusing women and I think even raping, inappropriate things. And Dolores Huerta, who was very close to him, married to him, wasn't that, even said, has brought up some experiences that she has had. And I'm always sad about that and always behind the women who come forward with their stories because I believe the victims and I believe the women. We don't listen to them enough. But I think the thing that has upset me most about this particular allegation right now is that we're dealing with the Epstein files and nothing's being done to the men who are alive today who have raped and even allegations of murder, actually, and who have benefited off of sex trafficking, and that we're not uncovering that and working on that right now in the present day. That's the thing that's upset me. So
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah, at all. At all.
Let me just say that we're here with Ann Porter today.
Hi.
And having the conversation with Ann. So I'm sorry, Ann, but I wanted to make sure that people knew who you were and your voice.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hello. And please, God, can I say something smart? Just one, two things, maybe. Anyway, I love what you're talking about, Mary, because I was just also reading about Andrew, former Prince Andrew.
Oh, yes.
Who got stripped of everything because of his involvement and engagement with Epstein. So, where is the accountability? Where's the responsibility with these creeps, American creeps?
I know. I don't understand
so
why in the
heartbreaking.
United States we're not doing more.
Not a thing. However, the United States has always had this Puritan history around sex and intimate relations and Hester getting one more A. It's people, Bill Clinton, very important men, American men, come to grief around sex.
Yes.
They do.
Yeah.
It's just this weird, dark part of our American history that we can't. Sex, it throws everybody for a loop.
Well,
like
even Clinton, like you brought up Clinton, he said it wasn't even sex. That oral sex was not sex.
Well, there's something for Cher Height to write about, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that was interesting to me how that, he could go along with that and that so many people would then agree with that. Oh, that's not really sex. It's like, wow. Well, then how do we define sex? But even when that was consenting adults, right? Except that there was a person of power over someone who didn't have as much power. So to me, that's not consensual.
Right.
But people said consensual sex. But in the case of Epstein and Trump and other men who have been, who are listed in that file, it's girls, little girls, 13. And, and I think somebody recently, a Republican said, oh, they're women at that age. No, they're not.
And then they barely started
No, they're
menstruating,
not.
probably.
And so that's interesting to me too, the age distinction, when it's okay, when it's not okay. To me, whenever there's someone of power, even in the teaching profession, you hear stories all the time of teachers having relationships with their students. That's wrong because there's a power situation there.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody with more power over somebody who doesn't have the power.
Yeah.
Now, if it's equal and they both are equally powerful, okay, that's a different story.
It is.
And then I would say consensual. But I would also say age does matter.
It does.
And the situation matters.
Yeah.
Where and how it's happening.
It does. I agree.
But
I agree.
obvious sex trafficking even, and then the money that was involved.
Yeah.
And there's even talk about murder now on his
Yes.
on his ranch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ew,
Yeah.
dreadful.
It really is.
You know, and so, well, and so you look at Nabokov, right? At Lolita.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Lolita.
It was
Did you ever read that?
Such a great book.
No, but I believe I saw the movie.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that was Roman Polanski, right? Wasn't that Polanski?
Yes.
I can't remember.
I think it was Polanski, and then there was the whole thing with Polanski.
Who got in trouble as well.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then had to leave the United
He
States.
had to flee.
But why do you think that is? Because it seems to me, having lived in different countries, that this is very prevalent here. And
Oh,
I think
you
a
think
lot,
that the incidence of sex trafficking, but also
Pedophilia.
pedophilia,
but it's the
is
attitude
more.
toward sex that is. I grew up walking to school, and there was a store that had pornography, and we looked at it and walked by. It was natural. We didn't. It wasn't something that was so taboo. And I think anytime you have something that you're not supposed to do, that's when you really want to do it.
Absolutely.
I just think that there's a very skewed attitude towards sex in the United States.
Yes, there is, and there always has been.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But how can a
I blame the
movement?
Christians, but that's just
Well,
me.
if the Christian nationalists who say that
Bullshit.
they're, well, I don't believe they're really Christian, but you know who,
Right.
but who say that they're Christian and they follow Christ, how could they be okay with the Epstein files not being revealed? I mean, I would think they would all be hammering at the doors, going,
Well, they are.
Because some of them
Actually.
are involved as well. And I just
There's that.
read today that this is not just situated in the United States and Britain. It's actually
"Oh, worldwide,"
worldwide.
Yes.
Of
That
course.
was how his tenants went.
and
Yeah,
Russia.
I'm sure.
Russia was huge involved.
Well, all those poor Middle Eastern women, from the Baltics, getting kidnapped and, strung up on heroin and then trafficked.
Right. Yes.
It's
And then brought into the United States
right.
for modeling jobs.
Right. Exactly. All right, this might not be the moment, but I have to tell this funny story. I was heading south on the 5, and I saw this guy on an overpass over the 5, and he was jumping up and down and pumping his fist, and there were, sort of hybrid American flags on each side of him. And by that I mean that the top part was the Stars and Stripes, and then the bottom part was the gay rainbow flag. And then on the other side of him was the Stars and Stripes on one flag with the Mexican flag underneath it. So there was this, he had probably 6 flags on either side of him while he's jumping up and down on his overpass. And I looked right when I went under the underpass, and he had hung a sign that said, "The files are not in Iran."
Ooh. That's, but
I was
that's
just
true.
like,
That's
and
great.
The files are not in Iran.
Yeah.
And so he was jumping up and down, and people were honking, and it was a deal. It was
I'm
a deal.
sure. Good for him.
I know.
I hear that the Operation Epic Fury is called Operation Epstein Fury. There might be something to that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think many people do believe it's a distraction. You know,
It is.
whenever we get a little bit closer to maybe revealing more information or people really being, upfront with pressing that issue, right? We attack Venezuela, and then we attack, and Canada and Cuba are
Greenland.
threatened, and Greenland,
Right.
it's like just another thing. And yeah, you have to wonder about what's happening now with the war. Why really are we there? See, I don't trust anything he or his administration says.
Right.
I don't. Because it changes from day to day. It's, they're a threat, the nuclear weapons. Well, then we go in and we bomb and go, oh, we got rid of all the nuclear weapons. Oh, no, I guess we didn't.
Right. Well, Desert Storm? Didn't the Bushes try this once before?
Yes.
A couple times before?
Right.
And I
here we
have
are again.
real difficulty with people defining this instance as a war. Usually one is attacked and fights back. And in this case, it's a unilateral declaration of aggression against a country that, frankly, we depend on for oil.
Oil. Right.
What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
What is that?
Why
It's
are we
not
there?
a war. It's a colonial imperialist move against a country that has done nothing against us except forbear. Those poor people have been attacked since the 90s by the U.S.
Right. I know.
And,
It's just, it's
and now,
insanity.
okay, so now we're going after nursery schools and rehab centers.
Right.
Just wicked.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Well,
wicked.
it's also cruel.
It's not. It is.
It's a real
so
deep.
cruel.
I mean, even
It's not a war.
Pete will say, "Oh, we need the more money." Remember, it's now 200
billion.
billion. We need more money because we have to kill, get rid of. I mean, this is his word. Kill, get rid of all the bad guys.
Hunt down.
Bad guys.
His language is absolutely.
Oh.
I'm speechless when I listen to
Well,
him.
we're the bad guys. I'm sorry. If we
Yeah.
go in and we are dropping bombs and killing people, we're the bad guys.
And this is what breaks my heart as an American. We had 70 years of being the good guys, sharing our enormous wealth, being generous, being
Helping other
goofy and
countries.
naive everywhere around the
Remember
world.
the airlift of Berlin? That was so beautiful.
The wall came down.
Yeah.
Okay, Reagan, but we got the wall down. Okay.
Yeah.
We had 70 years. Compared to the Romans, compared to Islam, compared to the Chinese, who have had 5,000 years of empire.
Mhm.
We got 70 years.
You know, I was talking to my
And
family.
rock and roll. Yay!
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was
That's okay.
talking to my family yesterday. And my brother-in-law, who is, I absolutely adore him. He's just a sterling individual. He told me, he said, when I think about it, I could cry because we have always looked at the Americans as this big brother that we always could count on.
Right.
And the fact that we don't have that anymore. And I said, well, perhaps in a while we will get a new president, a new government, and it may change. We may be able to rebuild that trust again. And he said, no, I think it's too deep at this point.
You know what? My cousins I have relatives who live in New Zealand, Australia, France, Paris, and London, England, and they're saying the same thing too. You've destroyed relations and also our sense of ideology about what United States stood for. You've destroyed it. It's gone. And I don't know how long it would take to rebuild all that again. Because really, we were ambassadors in some sense, like USAID, going into other countries and really helping them and developing relationship. Because I think that's what it's about. It's about taking the time to build relationship by helping somebody where they want to be helped. Not we imposing on that, but how can we help you? This is how. We were doing that, and now that is all gone. It was destroyed within less than a year.
Yeah.
Less than a year.
But you know what, though, and I may be naive, but I do believe that it can be built back up again. I really do believe that. We just have to speak in a different way. The language that is used is so beyond decency to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once we start with a new government and a new president, that I think we'll be able to rebuild that. We have to.
We have to.
Because we did. And you know what? I had this childish wish. I've always thought that when a president finishes his speech and he goes, and God bless America. And I would like somebody to say, God bless America and the rest of the world. Because I'm convinced that the only way we are going to survive as a species is by cooperation and not competition. And everything right now is competition. We are the biggest, the best. There's
And
never
we're
been
not,
anything.
though. But you know what? We've been saying that we're the biggest and the best for generations.
but this is really
and that's
accelerating.
never been really the truth. I don't think.
No, I think
True,
different
and
countries.
we've done some extraordinary things.
Oh yes,
I mean,
yes.
You know, there's Steve Jobs in there who's changed the world. You know what I mean? We've done some extraordinary things,
Yes.
but riding on our laurels is no longer an option because we don't have any.
Right. I don't think we do at
We
this
don't.
point. And I don't know, sometimes people say that we go through periods of time sort of like with Obama. I mean, I wanted him to be stronger on the whole civil rights issue. I mean, really. And I can understand that it was hard to do that, especially with the Senate and Congress that he had at that time. But I wanted him to speak out more. I wanted him to be more honest than I saw him being at the time. But I can appreciate that you have to play some game maybe in order to pull people in. But then people said, well, because we had him, then we go.
The pendulum.
Yeah, the
swings,
pendulum
right?
swings.
Right.
And it swings dramatically, and then it swings back dramatically, and then hopefully we come to a centerpiece. But I didn't think Obama was a dramatic swing in one way, and I definitely didn't feel Biden was. And I also thought that Kamala Harris would have been, personally, I was for her because I saw that she was far more intelligent than the other option and also more experienced and also had the idea of joy. The sense of let's enjoy this time together. Let's work together.
Right.
That
Right.
message, right?
Yeah.
And that we would not choose that? How could we? That's what scares me. How could we choose somebody who loves to put people down, is a misogynist, a racist, is a pedophile, vindictive, all those things that I would have thought, I know I was taught you don't want to be that way, right?
Well,
and yet here we are.
I find it hard to believe that we did, that the country actually elected that guy. I think there was funny business from the gate.
I
And
do
yes,
think so too.
I'm paranoid and I tend to conspiracy theories, but that I don't believe it. I don't believe my country went that direction.
Yeah.
I don't. I think there was
Well, I
shenanigans.
think it was stolen.
I do.
Really do.
I do.
Because anybody who keeps saying things were, other people are doing it, it's like he's pointing the finger at himself all the time. Whenever
projection.
he points a finger at other people
all
or
projection.
about,
It takes one to
yes.
know one.
What's the word you just?
Projection.
Thank you.
And it takes one to know.
Yes.
Ew. That's
Yes.
disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So, and I just said my country, and I'm so grateful to be here in Mexico because now when I
same
hear
here.
that now, I'm starting to think, oh, Mexico. My country, America, no. I don't believe in any of the shenanigans that are going on. I know there's great people there, and I'm sure we have to pull this out.
Well, we have to.
We have to pull this out. But when I hear my country anymore, I think about Baja. I think about Mexico.
Well, I think for me, MAGA or this movement, whatever we want to call it, stole the flag from me, stole even Christianity from me, stole even being proud of America from me.
Uh-huh.
Stole it. It's like, I don't want to fly the flag anymore because it doesn't mean what it used to mean for
Right.
me.
Right.
I don't want to, not that I go around calling myself a Christian because, I was raised Catholic. I wouldn't be embarrassed to say that about myself, although I don't think I'm that. But that's even been stolen. Everything that I believed in
Treasured.
and treasured, yeah, that's a good word, thank you, about the United States and being American no longer exists for me.
I look at it this way. I know one of my favorite saying is "Darkest before dawn." That the things that you loved and cared for about the United States is still there. It's just dormant right now. And when the right weather, the right milieu, the right temperature comes in, it will spring out again. It will come back up to the surface. And I think,
Well, I think democracy is a very powerful.
yeah,
thought.
and the thing
It's
with
a
the
really
democracy is
powerful
you
thing.
have to participate in it.
And you have to cooperate. Like
And
you
not
were
enough
saying.
people participate.
And I think
Like you were
that
saying.
we have taken it so for granted. It's always there. This is the way it was. It's the greatest experiment ever. And so we haven't really participated in it. And that's what we have to. And another thing that I think is instrumental is the Greeks said a democracy is dependent on an educated populace.
Correct.
And we rank 35th in the world at this point.
That's right.
The richest country in the world.
That's right. Which is a shame.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
We
It
should be
is.
ashamed of ourselves. And the Republicans have been doing this for 50 years. Going into school boards, cutting school budgets, dumbing down public education for 50 years.
Why would they do that? What do you think the purpose
So we
of it?
come up with a population that's going to vote for somebody like Trump. It was the long game, and they played it, and they played it good.
Yeah, they did.
As a teacher,
Yes.
maybe you have something to say
Oh,
about that,
well,
Mary.
no, I saw that. I saw, let's see, what, I want to say the 90s, maybe even later than that, 2000s. I was working in Vista Unified, and the Christian right came in and took over the school board. And I was teaching, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings.
Maya Angelou, right?
Yeah, Maya Angelou.
Beautiful.
And they said that I couldn't do that anymore, that no of the teachers could teach that anymore. But they started banning books. And I went ahead and taught it. I said, you're welcome to come into my classroom anytime, if you want to witness that. But you're not going to tell me what I can or can't teach.
Good
But
for you,
But
Mary.
you know what? I could have been fired at
exciting.
that time, although I was tenured. So it would have been, the union deciding to step up behind me, which I think they would have done. I
Uh-huh.
really think they would have. It was not questioned, and teachers kept teaching what they were teaching, even though that board was saying, no, you can't. Now, some followed that, but I saw that change start to happen.
Yep.
90s or early 2000s.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
So
what do-
you're right. It's been in the works
Yep.
for quite a while.
This is a long game. that they
It
play
is.
to dumb down public education.
Because they just want private education because they can afford it and send their children. That's the voucher system,
Right.
which no
Just
poor family could use the voucher system. It didn't give
Right.
them enough money to go to the private
It
schools.
just happened in
It was
Texas.
just a joke.
Yeah.
So what do you suppose the end game is? What would the purpose of doing that be?
Well, an uneducated, ill-informed, social media, I don't know, people who listen to Fox News. An uneducated, ill-informed public is very easy to dominate
And manipulate
and manipulate. Thank you.
so that you stay in power. So the billionaires, people with money, stay in power. I mean,
Well,
and I think that I hate to bring an end to our conversation right now, but we could take a break for a bit.
Sounds good.
sure. Sure.